Good morning, and today we are introducing His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Fadli Amri Ali Aman, the Consul General for Malaysian Consulate in Dubai. And we have certain questions for him today. So, Mr. Fadli, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Today is excellent day, and meeting Christian people like you makes my day even brighter.
Thank you so much. So we have certain questions for you on the trade scenario for Malaysia, and we would like to know what is the current balance of trade that stands between the two countries, and if oil is eliminated, how the figures are reflected.
Okay. For Malaysia and UAE, we have been enjoying a good trading partnership for the past decades, and I'm glad to see that for last year we have increased the total trade to more than 70%. But nowadays the trade imbalance is always to UAE favor. If we took out the percentage of the oil, we have a slight chance to improve our balance towards the UAE, because from UAE we're importing more than 40% petroleum-based product, including crude oil, from the UAE. So from our side, we always have the electronic products, petroleum-based products, palm oil, and from UAE, the major portion is from the petroleum side. As I mentioned before, we contribute more to, I think, close to 40%, if I'm not mistaken, the petroleum product from the UAE.
All right. And in your opinion, what are the key sectors that offer potential for greater trade between Malaysia and the UAE?
Okay. As you can see, for the past 4 decades, the UAE has changed their ways of doing business. Their focus now, they are more focusing on sustainability and high tech. So from our side, we do have a lot of products to offer. As example, we have our electronics product. We build microchip for some certain big company, and we do explore the possibilities of having a smart city, where we can see now here in UAE they are venturing into that as well.
Yes.
But what I think the UAE is championing right now is the usage of the artificial intelligence. I noticed that some of the government agencies here in the UAE, they are already using the ChatGPT as how to handle customer and how to manage database. And here I think from Malaysia and the UAE we can learn and we can teach each other how to improve the world for a better place. Yeah, and
So you think that the focus is there?
The focus is there, and I think both countries can do well when we venture in these possibilities.
All right, thank you so much. And how does the Malaysian government support Malaysian businesses looking to expand into the UAE market?
Okay.
Are there any facilities available for exporters in general, motivating them to export more?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We have an agency in Malaysia, we call it Malaysian Trade Development Corporation, where they have been actively involved anywhere in the world, and they have been here, I think, for the past 3 decades, and they were here since back in early 2000, I think.
Okay.
And we have a building here called Malaysian Trade Building. So it shows that we are actively involved in helping Malaysians to export the product to UAE and the GCC region. And this trade is under the Consul General of Malaysia, and they have been actively involved in the exhibitions, in the local player, and they are the they are the patron of the Malaysian Business Council as well. So if any of the companies interested in joining or in penetrating the UAE market, Trade is always there to help them out, and they have facilitated a lot of Malaysian companies, in fact, to join the exhibition, such as Arab Health.
Correct. It was in the Arabian travel market
Exactly.
when I participated.
All right,
So
thank you for participating.
Thank you. So you had a very good, beautiful, chaos being put up
Yes,
over there. It was a
thank you.
large venue that was taken.
Yeah, it's true.
Very beautiful.
As I think you notice, in the UAE, you need to make your presence felt. Yeah. So that's why we did spend a bit more. Our efforts, our resources to make our presence felt here.
Right, and trade is the main focus over here.
Of course, yeah.
And a little bit more, we've spoken about trade now, so I think we have certain avenues that we would want to open up for education.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the current state of collaboration between Malaysian and UAE universities in terms of academic programs and research partnerships?
It's a good question. So basically, we did have a close collaboration with all the major universities here in the UAE. In fact, we have more than 1,000. If I'm not mistaken, the figures now is 1,200 UAE students studying in Malaysia. But the balance is not quite there yet because we have less than 50 Malaysian students here in the UAE. Yeah, so, but in order for us to promote more the collaboration between education, we did have a close relations with some of the universities. We did sign few MOUs, did a few exchange programs for the lecturers, for the students, and we are thinking of doing a close collaboration between the accreditation body for both sides, UAE and Malaysia, so that they can acknowledge the quality of education from both the universities.
That's good to know. So maybe this will bring some growth together.
Yes,
Yeah?
let's hope so.
All right. And are there any official contracts between the universities of both the countries?
Of course. On top of my head, we have our University Malaya, one of the oldest universities in Malaysia. Did have a contract with one of the universities. I cannot remember the details. To formalize the partnerships, like I mentioned before, in exchange of students, in research, exchange of lecturers, and so forth. And if I'm not mistaken, earlier this year or in last year, we have one of the other university. Can I remember the name? The short form is UITM.
Right.
They have signed a formal MOU for the exchange of research and lecturers as well. So
Great.
we're going there.
Yeah, yeah. Progress is there.
Exactly.
All right. And what measures are being taken to promote Malaysian education institutions in the UAE?
Okay, we have one office called Education Malaysia. They work closely with us. So what we did was, on top of joining all the exhibition, we did a road tour, whereas we visited some of the high schools to promote Malaysian university as a study destination. What we can offer them is, one, the culture, because we both UAE and Malaysia is an Islamic country.
Correct.
And we do offer, I think, what is good for the even residents of the Emirates, opportunity to learn what they want to achieve in order to penetrate the market. So there's a lot of things that we can offer, and if any of the students or any of the higher education entity like to learn more, they can always approach us, and we are more than happy to.
Yeah, and as for the new generation now, they need to understand what is the Islamic culture also.
Exactly.
And, so that will help actually.
Exactly.
And there were some legal requirements for online education. How these requirements affect the education, especially the private sector universities operating out of the UAE?
Yeah, you can see. I think we can all agree that the pandemic has shifted, all the traditional ways of learning things, of doing things, to using the technologies, using online and everything. But as per your question, I don't think it will affect much on how the higher level institution in Malaysia to offer, the online courses, because some of the universities in Malaysia did have the online courses way before the pandemic started. But now I think we can take the opportunity to our favor, like during the pandemic, so that we have more stringent, regulatory body, so that we can ensure the quality of the education, not merely passing lectures and attending exams. So we can produce high quality students, so they are well prepared for the market.
That's right. That's good actually. And how does the Malaysian embassy in the UAE support Malaysian students studying in the country and students wishing to go to Malaysia for studies?
Let me answer the last question first. As I mentioned before, we did a lot of engagement, outreach, and everything. So once the students or any institution showed their interest, we will, I would call it handholding, to guide them through the process on to identifying which institution they want to go, which subject they should take, and we closely monitor the accreditation as well, so that their degrees or post degrees can work well with industries here in the UAE or in the GCC region. So for Malaysians who like to go to UAE, we did provide closely through technologies and sometimes through queries on which university they would go, and not only that, once they are here, we always take care of them. We did outreach. In fact, last Eid we hosted open house for them. We're inviting the students. As I mentioned, there's not a lot of students here in UAE, so
still it's a good initiative.
Exactly.
At least there is some spark.
Exactly.
Great. And we understand that some of the British-based short-term diploma-based qualifications are not allowed to be pursued in Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
If so, how can we promote Malaysian studies students' academic educations here in the UAE?
I think the rule applies anywhere else in the world. We need to have certain standards, as I mentioned before, in order for us to get acknowledgement from the industry player, from the local government. So I have to agree with you. It does have some stumbling. It does presents a stumbling block for people to pursue study in Malaysia. But we can provide an alternative. For example, if this subject is not qualified, not acknowledged in Malaysia, we can provide them an alternative. Maybe they need to take extra classes or something like that, so that in order for us to encourage them. But as I mentioned before, this is a standard we need to adhere, and some regulatory body did have some high standards. But I think through close collaboration, we can encourage more people to study elsewhere, especially in Malaysia.
Great. So I think we got a larger insight on the education sector and how the Malaysian embassy is also helping it out for the students here as well as back home in Malaysia. We would like to just get some insight on tourism. So what are the top tourist destinations in Malaysia that would interest UAE travelers?
Same goes to education, trade, and tourism. We have some similarity with the UAE being an Islamic country. But what we can offer to the local tourists, local to visit Malaysia is, our nature, our beaches, and of course we have
a lot of cultural sites.
Shopping destination. So based on my engagement with the local here, they love to go to Langkawi, to Genting, to Cameron. Have you been there?
Yeah.
That's good. So we did tailor a niche program for them to whatever they want to go. Maybe they want to go to the island. We will tailor the itinerary for them. And mostly there have been all the amenities here have been to Malaysia, for the past 2 decades, and it passed through generations, so it's good.
And how does the embassy promote Malaysian tourism to the UAE market? Are there any upcoming initiatives or events that aim to boost tourism between both the countries?
As I mentioned before, we did engage closely with the local market. We did join all the major events. Like we mentioned before, we did join the Arabian travel market, where we have more than 70 participants with a diverse, agencies, state tourism, consuls, and everything. So through that, we did give some exposure to the local what we have to offer, and it does not stop there. We did an engagement with the local travel players, with the airlines, with media such as yourself, and the influencer, and we did arrange some familiarization tour. And in fact, we are planning to do so. We did during the Arabic travel market. We did sign an MOU with 2 airlines. We are thinking of doing 2 series of familiarization tours back in Malaysia, where we will invite all the industry players.
That's great. And what kind of support Malaysian government seeks from the local outfits related to travel industry, or how the local travel related players will help in increasing an inbound travel for Malaysia?
Of course, we need the support. We need a close collaboration with them in order for them to advise us on the niche market, on what are the preference of the locals, and we need to get their insight because they know what they want, and we have a lot of things to offer. But sometimes a lot of information can cloud the judgment. So we need the expertise, and we need a close collaboration with the local players as well as the local government providing such services, and maybe we can sign some more MOUs with close collaboration and so forth.
Yes, that would work actually.
Exactly.
So it was great speaking to you,
It's my pleasure.
Mr. Mohammed Fadli, and we had a great session, and we understand what's your purview for collaboration between both the countries,
Mhm.
and it should work well with your vision.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving your time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.